Does the organization person have to be versatile and have multiple facets, multiple sides? Is that what we could say?
Good, very good question. By the way, I wish I was in Puerto Vallarta today, but any event. No, I think people who will succeed in this new economy are people who are, one, committed to be learners, that they are open to change and therefore have some flexibility, that they are open to other people and that they can learn to work with other people. I think it's going to be very difficult in the future for lone eagles to succeed. But we certainly don't want to diminish the value of individual research either. But I think the key is becoming a learner, just as our organizations have to become learning organizations. But we'll talk about that in a minute as well.
Gracias. Continuamos ahora con el módulo número 2.
And now let us proceed with module number 2, where Mr. Finnigan will explain to us the requirements for customer service excellence.
Let's talk now about customer service excellence and the 3 new strategies successful organizations are using to assure satisfied customers. In the 1970s and 1980s, the management mantra for top-level executives of outstanding service organizations was profit and market share. Today, management knows that in the new economy, frontline workers and customers need to be the center of concern because successful service managers are paying more attention to the factors that drive profitability in this new service paradigm. And they express a vision of leadership in terms rarely heard, like the importance of the mundane. Paying attention to the customer is certainly not a new idea, but many top-level managers, particularly those at industrial companies, consider customer contact the bailiwick of sales and marketing staff. And even if they do believe that market focus is a priority, most retain only limited contact with consumers, relying instead on subordinates' reports, second or third-hand information, to define and sense the market for them. Such approaches are dangerous for several reasons. First, customer input and market data are useful only if they're coming from the right sources. Too many industrial companies define customer as the next entity in the distribution channel and then stop there, routinely gathering all their marketing information accordingly. This is a serious mistake. Each step in the process, right down to the end user, is as important as the next. Only market data that reflects desires and needs at every step and gives senior managers the kind of comprehensive picture they need to make informed, accurate decisions about new services and product positioning. For consumer goods, companies like Coca-Cola, Gillette, and Nike, the process is short. So even information that doesn't reflect all the steps will probably be on or near target. But for large organizations that are several steps removed from the end users of a finished product, such an error can result in a grossly inaccurate portrayal of the market. A growing number of companies know that when they make employees and customers paramount, a radical shift occurs in the way they manage and measure success. In fact, the lifetime value of loyal customers can be astronomical, especially when referrals are added to the economics of customer retention and repeat purchases of related products. For example, the lifetime revenue stream from a loyal pizza eater can be $8,000. A Cadillac owner, $332,000. And a corporate purchaser of commercial aircraft, literally billions of dollars. What I want to share with you now is a service profit process that puts hard values on soft measures. This process helps managers target new investments to develop service and satisfaction levels for maximum competitive impact. Widening the gap between service leaders and their merely good competitors. The service profit process establishes relationships between profitability, customer loyalty, and employee satisfaction, loyalty, and productivity, regardless of the organization's size. The steps in the process, which should be regarded as propositions, are profit and growth are stimulated primarily by customer loyalty. Loyalty is a direct result of customer satisfaction. Satisfaction is largely influenced by the value of services provided to customers. Value is created by satisfied, loyal, and productive employees. And employee satisfaction results primarily from high-quality service support and policies that enable employees to deliver results to customers. The service profit process is also defined by a special kind of leadership. CEOs of exemplary service companies emphasize the importance of each employee and customer. For these CEOs, the focus on customers and employees is no empty slogan tailored to an annual management meeting. For example, Herbert Kelleher, the CEO of Southwest Airlines, can be found aboard airplanes, on tarmacs, and in terminals, interacting with employees and customers alike. Kelleher believes that anyone who looks at things solely in terms of factors that can easily be quantified is missing the heart of the business, which is people. William Pollard, the chairman of ServiceMaster, continually underscores the importance of teacher-learner managers who have what he calls a servant's heart, what some call servant leadership. Let's look at each proposition of the service profit process one at a time. Customer loyalty drives profitability and growth. New measures of service industries like software and banking suggest that customer loyalty is a more important determinant of profit than being number one or number two. For example, it is estimated that a 5% increase in customer loyalty can produce profit increases from 25 to 85%. This suggests that quality of market share, measured in terms of customer loyalty, deserves as much attention as quantity of share. Customer satisfaction drives customer loyalty. Leading service organizations are currently trying to quantify customer satisfaction. For example, at Xerox, we poll 4,800 customers each year regarding product and service satisfaction using a 5-point scale from 5, as high, to 1, low. Until 3 years ago, Xerox's goal was to achieve 100% 4s, satisfied, and 5s, very satisfied, by the end of 1993. But in 1991, an analysis of customers who gave Xerox 4 and 5 ratings on satisfaction found that the relationship between the scores and actual loyalty differed greatly depending on whether the customers were satisfied or very satisfied. Customers giving Xerox 5s were 6 times more likely to repurchase equipment than those giving 4s. So we revised our expectations upwards. Scott Cook, CEO of Intuit Corporation, describes customers that are so satisfied that they convert the uninitiated to a product or service. He calls them apostles. He also wants to avoid creating terrorists, customers that are so unhappy that they speak out against a poorly delivered service at every opportunity. Terrorists can reach hundreds of potential customers, and in some instances they can discourage acquaintances from buying a service or product. Value drives customer satisfaction. Customers today are strongly value-oriented, but just what does that mean? Customers say that value means the results they receive in relation to the total costs, both the price and the other costs the customer incurs in acquiring the service. That's value. The insurance company Progressive Corporation is creating just this kind of value for its customers by processing and paying claims quickly and with little policyholder effort. members of the company's catastrophe team fly to the scene of a major accident, providing support services like transportation, housing, and handling claims rapidly. By reducing their legal costs and actually placing more money in the hands of the injured party, they are more than making up for the added expense, which helps explain why Progressive has one of the highest margins in the property and casualty insurance industry. Employee productivity drives value. At Southwest Airlines, which is the 7th largest U.S. domestic carrier, positions are designed so that employees can perform several jobs if necessary. Schedules, routes, and company practices, such as open seating and the use of simple color-coded reusable boarding passes, enable the boarding of 3 and 4 times more passengers per day than competing airlines. Southwest deplanes and reloads 2/3 of its flights in 15 minutes or less. Because of aircraft availability and short-haul routes that don't require long layovers for flight crews, Southwest has roughly 40% more pilot and aircraft utilization than its competitors. And consumers place high value on Southwest's frequent departures, on-time service, friendly employees, and very low fares. Employee loyalty drives productivity. Traditional measures of the losses incurred by employee turnover concentrate on the cost of recruiting, hiring, and training replacements. However, in most service jobs, the real cost of turnover is the loss of productivity and decreased customer satisfaction. Employee satisfaction drives loyalty. In a study of property and casualty insurance company employees, 30% of all dissatisfied employees registered an intention to leave the company, a potential turnover rate 3 times higher than that for satisfied employees. In the same case, low employee turnover was found to be linked closely to high customer satisfaction. By contrast, recently Southwest was named one of America's 10 best places to work. As a result, Southwest experiences the highest rate of employee retention in the airline industry. But what does drive employee satisfaction? Is it compensation, perks, plush workplaces? Internal quality drives employee satisfaction. What we call internal quality of a working environment contributes most to employee satisfaction. Internal quality is measured by the feelings that employees have towards their jobs, their colleagues, and the company. What do service employees value most on the job? They point increasingly to the ability and authority of service workers to achieve results for customers. Internal quality is also characterized by the attitudes that people have toward one another and the way people serve each other inside the organization. For example, service masters developed a 7-step process for cleaning a hospital room, from the first step, greeting the patient, to the last step, asking patients whether or not they need anything else done. Using this process, the workers develop communication skills and learn to interact with patients in a way that add depth and dimension to their jobs. Leadership underlies the chain's success. Leaders who understand the service profit process develop and maintain a culture centered around service to customers and fellow employees. They display a willingness and ability to listen. Successful managers spend a great deal of time with customers and employees, experiencing their company's service processes while listening to employees for suggestions for improvement. We must relate the links in the chain for management action. While many organizations are beginning to measure relationships between the individual links in the service profit process, only a few have related the links in a meaningful way, ways that can lead to comprehensive strategies. At the insurance company I mentioned earlier, they discovered that employees who felt they did meet customer needs registered job satisfaction levels more than twice as high as those who felt they didn't. Even more importantly, they found that when a service worker left the company, customer satisfaction levels dropped sharply from 75 to 55%. At Xerox, we describe our desired state, where we want to be when we are achieving our business results in several ways. But the first two are our customer expectations are exceeded and we achieve 100% customer satisfaction. And our people are motivated and challenged to achieve superior results for their customers. Customer service is important, but new processes and challenges are coming at us all of the time, and the trends move so quickly that the future is both now and yesterday. What does the immediate future hold for our organizations? As I mentioned, there are three emerging management strategies that are affecting organizational structure and are gaining popularity in the marketplace. By focusing on its key business processes, particularly those that cross organizational boundaries, an organization can capitalize on its strengths to provide customer value as effectively and efficiently as is possible. This includes focusing on 1. Core competencies, organizing around what the organization does best by structuring according to competencies instead of product or market. 2. Re-engineering, fundamentally rethinking and redesigning of business systems so that it urges an overhaul of job designs, organization structures, and management systems. Work is therefore organized around the outcomes, not the tasks or functions. And 3, becoming a learning organization. Structuring the organization around autonomous work teams requires that we continue to build our competencies and that we share the knowledge we have gained from process improvement and the new technologies. First, many organizations today are structuring themselves according to their core competencies, rather than by products or vertical markets. The challenge facing companies in the 1990s is creating value, both in their products and their organization. To meet this challenge, management must simultaneously improve within their organization a wide variety of initiatives such as quality, cost, cycle time, productivity, profitability, while at the same time devising new markets, new businesses, and a broad strategic direction. This means enhancing the organization's capacity to leverage its resources. The most effective means for accomplishing this is to build a strategy based on core competencies and core products. A core competency should not be confused with an organization's core technologies or capabilities. While technology can be standalone, such as design of a very large laser printer, competence transcends design capabilities. For example, consistently high printer reliability and low unit manufacturing cost. The process of converting good designs into high yields requires that multiple levels, that is, product assembly to product design, and multiple functions, that is, hardware and software engineers and manufacturing engineers, work very closely and effectively. Also, core competency should not be confused with the capabilities of the organization's groups or its key processes. For example, just-in-time may be a special capability of a manufacturing group, or engineering may have some especially skilled ASIC designers. But while an organization's capability is crucial for its survival, unlike a core competency, it does not confer any specific differential advantage over other organizations. Rather than distinct elements, technology and capability are key parts of core competency, which is embedded in the whole organization and is the creative coordination and integration of two key factors. 1, multiple streams of technologies which the organization has learned to harmonize. An example is Sony, whose unique forte is miniaturization, which requires such core technologies as microprocessors, miniature power supplies, power management, packaging, and manufacturing. 2, collective learning, knowledge and skills in the organization. The cumulative knowledge of both tacit and explicit learning involving a large number of people is essential to comprehending core competency. Identifying a core competency should be done carefully by deliberate analysis and strategic planning. Too often organizations rush to judgment And too often managers treat core competence as an exercise in intuition and skip the thorough research and detailed analysis needed to get the right answer. To acknowledge a core competency, it must pass 3 tests. 1, confer a significant source of competitive advantage in the eyes of your customers. Is your core competence a significant source of competitive differentiation? Does it provide a unique signature like miniaturization for Sony? 2, provide access to a wide range of businesses, current and new. Does the core competence transcend a single business? Does it provide opportunity for the reusability of the organization's assets, as well as core products in new and imaginative configurations? 3, be hard for competitors to imitate. That is, provides for a complex harmonization of individual technologies, skills, assets, and processes. Is it hard for competitors to imitate? Would it be hard for someone to visit your operation and come back and outline why you are good at what you do? To leverage core competency, an organization must have competent people to support it. Most core competencies are the results of cross-functional activities requiring inputs of work from across organizational boundaries. This is because it is usually not possible to amass all the elements of a competency into a single structure of the organization, and because competency cannot be managed in isolation from other people and skills. A core competency necessitates employee experts, groups of people with diverse viewpoints, training, ages, roles, etc., engaged in real work with real goals, using real tools over a significant period of time, in which they solve problems, learn and invent, and build things. These groups are called communities of practice or communities of core competence. The result of these activities is the sustenance and growth of the organization's core competency. Some indicators that a group, team, or task force has become a community of core competency are that the members know other members really know about technology and processes and how to evoke that know-how for their own purposes. The group is using new processes, tools, language, models, etc., to do its work in such a way that outsiders have to be introduced to the new methodologies. The members operate in collaboration with one another. The members' identities, the things they are known for, have changed in their own and others' eyes. The focus of these communities of competency or practice is on the core competency which directly touches customers, rather than on capabilities or processes that are completely internal to the organization. A proactive community of competency also maintains a balanced strategy and tactical plan upon which to operate that is based on the following: re-engineering processes where necessary for breakthrough performance, continuously improving processes whenever possible, acquiring or developing information technology enablers, making structural changes when necessary, acquiring and building know-how and skills, managing cultural, value, and behavioral shifts within and without the group, managing for results by managing their processes. The second new theory that is emerging as a process is process simplification by re-engineering. Now, we've talked about this, but I want to say some more because redesigning work processes and flow, organizational structure, and information technology has been shown to provide an organization the means to achieve above-average productivity gains. Re-engineering represents radical rethinking and dramatic improvements in performance. That is, reduced cycle time and cost, and increased organizational effectiveness, competitiveness, and performance. The focus of business process re-engineering effort is on an organization's process, structure, technology, or people. First, process. A process is a repetitive set of tasks or steps designed to transform inputs, materials or knowledge, into outputs, products or services that a customer will perceive as value added. A business process is usually defined in terms of the customer's end-to-end experience, such as service call to repair, complaint to resolution, or order to delivery. Structure. An organization's structure is composed of reporting relationships, roles and responsibilities, decision-making practices, control of resources, and accountability processes and individual tasks. Technology. The tools, techniques, and systems that enable the organization's processes to add value for customers, distribute products and services, and operate the organization's infrastructure. People. The organization's human resources, policies, information, and communication flow, empowerment practices, and work norms, training, and development. A good example of an organization that used reengineering to improve itself is U.S. Air. By implementing new processes, changing organizational structure, and using technology, U.S. Air reduced by 30% the time it takes to remove an engine from a wing, rebuild it, and return it to service. This saves time and money and reduces the number of spare engines they need to have on hand. In addition, by careful review of how they stock and supply spare parts, U.S. Air has been able to achieve a significant savings in maintenance. First, they determined the minimum number of parts to have on hand to ensure that they would in no way compromise reliability or high performance levels. Then they analyzed how they order, store, track, and distribute spare parts. On the basis of these process studies, they were able to put in a program to identify rogue parts, the ones that repeatedly cause problems and should be replaced. With the new procedures, U.S. Air reduced spare parts inventory by $50 million, as well as sell an additional $50 million of surplus inventory. The third challenge is building a learning organization. Meeting the challenge of the new global economy requires the complex and often painful challenge of change, and changing work practices is not easy. Traditional patterns of behavior have sometimes been learned too well. They must be replaced with new learning. Learning that gives everyone in the organization the tools and processes of customer service. In his insightful book on organizational learning, The Fifth Discipline, Peter Zeng wrote, "Team learning is the process of aligning and developing the capacity of a team to create the results its members truly desire. It builds on the discipline of developing shared vision. It also builds on personal mastery, for talented teams are made up of talented individuals. But shared vision and talent are not enough. The world is full of teams of talented individuals who share a vision for a while, yet fail to learn. The great jazz ensemble has talent and a shared vision, even if they don't discuss it. But what really matters is that the musicians know how to play together." This is a key responsibility of managers and a requirement of a learning organization. Helping the team to know how to play together. Helping workers to learn from their mistakes is a key part of the new learning and the new management style of patience and a focus on incremental improvements. By learning more about their work processes, employees and managers are increasingly able to learn from their mistakes. Most breakthroughs in work activity are the result of gaining insights from personal experience. Many organizations are discovering that if they can institutionalize this phenomena, they can anticipate significant improvements in work processes and technology development. In an era of intellectual property, where white-collar and blue-collar workers are fast being replaced by gold-collar workers, that is, persons who possess strategic knowledge, it behooves an organization to facilitate the transmission of knowledge to as many workers as possible in the shortest time possible. What characterizes learning organizations? They train employees quickly and effectively, fostering new learning, striking error rates, and accelerating program, product and service rollouts. They attract fast learners, employees who are responsive, receptive, and resilient. They leverage their past successes and failures to continuously improve their processes and services. They adapt quickly, and because they listen closely to customers, they innovate rapidly. They are time responsive, and they concentrate on reducing cycle times and simplifying processes. A manager who wants to adopt the personal practices that will lead to a learning organization must first focus on those few vital behaviors that will best help to achieve this goal. And at the same time, he will have to be aware of the behaviors that will block his progress. There are 5 things a manager can do to advocate a learning organization. 1, treat training and learning as a required investment in human assets. Learning is not without its costs. The organization will certainly invest in developing or acquiring training programs that will provide every team the time to attend this training. But more is required. To be successful, a manager must see the members of his team as assets whose value to the organization can be replenished over and over again. 2, encourage people to learn from their mistakes. In an environment that encourages prudent risk-taking, some failure can be used as a valuable learning experience. When they are reviewed with the right perspective, failures are a rich, fertile ground for learning that can lead to significant breakthroughs in process improvement and technological development. Failures should be studied and analyzed, not punished, to enhance the probability of success in the future. 3, identify, catalog, and publish organization learning resources. Remember, good managers are servant leaders who want to enable their teams to be more productive. To do so, they have to provide a compilation of information regarding the technical, management, and quality learning opportunities available to their organization. Because it is certain the team will require educational support beyond what is available inside the organization, managers have to help the team diagnose what special or critical needs are important to their work processes and facilitate the acquisition of this learning. This may be access to information about customers, work processes, or variances in production, or it may be specific technical knowledge or knowledge that can only be acquired by cross-training or an outside learning program. 4, make everyone aware of core competencies. One of the hallmarks of total quality is the consistency with which processes and tools are applied within the organization. With consistency, everyone from the boardroom to the shop floor, from engineering to marketing, will speak the same language. Reaching this kind of consistency means that all of an organization's people, at a minimum, will need to be trained by a set of core modules which supports the practice of customer service in their job. 5, use process improvement as a learning tool. How an organization deals with its problems tells much about that organization's values. Understanding one's work process builds not only the knowledge to improve the process, but provides the confidence for action that comes from knowing what to do. When an organization truly understands its core competencies, uses business process re-engineering and learning to improve its productivity, it can pursue customer service with the confidence that it can compete with anyone. Those of you who have followed this series have learned a great deal about the global economy and how you can help your organizations compete. But before we end this series, let me share one final thought with you. It comes from John Byrne, a business writer who offers some sage advice about the quest for competitive success. He writes, "Modern managers are wise to remember the obvious. Produce a product people want at a competitive price, and you will succeed. Simple as that idea may be, however, the path to true enlightenment is never easy." Thank you.
Gracias.